Hey YouTube, hey you guys, it's your girl Tonya. Thanks for tuning into my channel. I'm brand new. I'm trying to build up my channel. I like to talk about anything that has to do with money, whether it's trying to get out of debt, budgeting. I do live Money Mondays on my Facebook Live and on Instagram Live, where I talk about different side hustles, work from home jobs, how to build your credit, and things like that. So today, as the title says, I'm going to tell you how I saved $18,000 in 8 months for my down payment and closing costs for a house that I'm getting ready to try to buy. Please don't give me a thumbs down because this is how I am with other videos. When I watch people say how they did this and how they did that, and then I start listening, I'm like, well, that story, I'm not going to be able to do the same thing that they did. However, some people might be interested in it, and also you can still learn from it and know that there's some other things that you can do to save that amount of money. So let me tell you what happened and how I was able to save $18,000 in 8 months towards a house. So I got laid off in October of 2019, and we got a severance package. Because of the length of time that I was there, I was able to get a severance. I was able to get severance pay for 6 months. My same income, just not any overtime or whatever, because that overtime was some kind of good, but just not any overtime or whatever. But the base, the base pay wasn't nothing to sneeze at either. I made really, really good money. We were all upset when we got laid off because our location actually closed. That's why they laid us off, because our location closed. And so because I had been there 10 years, I was able to get 6 months of severance, which was the maximum that we could get. Same salary and everything. So I'm like, I'm just gonna chill and take a couple of months off because I have been working all my life since the age of 13. I'm like, I deserve to take 1 or 2 months off. And then it was getting ready to be Christmas time. I wanted to go home to North Carolina and visit with my family and be there for a while and chill or whatever. So when I came back in January, I was like, okay, it's time to start looking for a job, time to get back into action. And I'm like, okay, what's going on with this job market right now? I couldn't find nothing. And mind you, I have degrees, I have certifications, and I'm like, what is going on? My profession is in human resources. And I'm like, what's going on? And then I found out that because of some kind of thing that the government has or whatever, that if you lose your job because your job is going overseas, there's a whole different program that you can get into, and you can also receive unemployment. So this may help some people out that may not know that they can get unemployment even if they're getting a severance. And don't let unemployment tell you that you can't, because it's written in the stipulations that you can. Because at first, the person that was doing my unemployment said, oh no, you're getting a severance, you can't get unemployment. I'm like, well, half the people are already getting it. Because for one, when they came to talk, because unemployment actually sent somebody out to talk to everybody at my job. I just happened to be out of town that day. I was out of town for the whole week. And nobody really told me what the discussion was about when they came. So when we got laid off, I didn't think about unemployment because I'm thinking like everybody else, well, I'm getting a severance, so I don't qualify for unemployment. So I just happened to be out with some of my coworkers. I think we did like a little happy hour like in November. I think it was right before Thanksgiving. And one of the girls was like, yeah, my unemployment just kicked in. So now I'm getting my unemployment checks. I'm getting my severance checks. I'm stacking up. And I'm like, wait, what? You getting unemployment? She was like, yeah, you ain't apply for your unemployment? I said, no. She was like, well, weren't you at the sessions that they had at work that said we can get unemployment because our jobs are going overseas and all this other, she was going on. And it was like, by the time she was saying all that, it was like Charlie Brown's teacher was on womp, 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 womp. All I heard was I can get unemployment. So I applied for unemployment. They came back and said that I could not get it. So I said, you a lie. I want my unemployment. So they told me I had to have a hearing. So somebody told me, and like I said, this is going to be good for somebody. So somebody told me, even though they said you can't get it, keep doing your certification every week, because once you have your hearing and they approve you for unemployment, they have to go back all those weeks and do back pay. So I'm like, really? So you best believe every Sunday I was doing my certification. And because of the amount of money that we made, we got the max unemployment. We got the maximum. It was about 500, close to it. I'm just going to round it off and say 500. So we got the maximum. So I just, every week I was doing my certification. So finally I had a hearing in I think the 1st of February. And so the first person that told me that I couldn't get the unemployment, once you have a hearing, it goes to somebody else. So that person was like, well, I don't know why that person said you couldn't get unemployment, because everybody at your company has been applying for unemployment and they've been receiving it because of the paperwork that you have. So he was like, well, just send me your paperwork and then I'll look at it. Honey, when I tell you I sent that man that paperwork while we was on the phone, I said, hold on 1 second. Boop, click, 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 click. There you go. Let me know if you received it. He's like, oh, yeah, here it is. Okay, well, let me look through it real quick. Do you mind holding for me for a moment? Oh, no, go right ahead. Held on. He came back and said, yes, you do qualify for the unemployment based on what's in your severance agreement. Cool. He was like, okay. He said you should have a outcome or whatever of the hearing, and then after that, then you should be able to receive your unemployment. Cool. He said, keep doing your certifications. Oh, you better believe it. I'm doing my certification every Sunday. So boom, 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 boom. Couple of weeks go by. Got my letter that I'm approved. Got a letter that I had to go in and do the job thing. I forgot what it's called, but you have to go and do workshops. You have to go do this and go do that in order to keep getting your unemployment done. So I had set up my appointments to do that. Did the classes. I was doing everything, and then come to find out, we're part of a whole nother program, and I'm so sorry I forgot to write it down. I forgot what it's called, but it's some kind of job rehabilitation type thing for when your company sends your jobs overseas. You qualify for another program, so it's totally different than unemployment. And when your unemployment runs out, if you're still not working, their money will kick in. Thank God I had found me a job, but I'll get to that in a minute. So by the time I got approved, I got my card in the mail and everything. I activated my card. Y'all, I had $6,000 on my card because I had been doing my certification every week and they had to pay that back pay. And because I was still getting my severance, that $6,000 went straight into a savings account. I took the money off the card, which, number one, I don't like. In the state of Maryland, you have to get your unemployment on a debit card. You can't get direct deposit, which I hated. So I took the money off the card, put it in my savings account, and every week I did my certification. By the time March rolled around, 2020, this is when the COVID kicked in and they signed the CARES Act that gave us an additional $600 a week on top of our regular unemployment. So I was getting $1,000 a week of unemployment, still having my severance come in. So I wasn't touching any of my unemployment because, like I said, it was hard for me to find a job and I was starting to get scared and nervous. Y'all, I was so stressed out. My hair started falling out and everything. Whew, thank God it started growing back. That's a whole nother video. But I was nervous. I'm like, you know what? I'm just saving all my unemployment and I'm going to live frugal off my my severance and budget and everything like that. Because, I was living high off the hog before because I was making good money. And I didn't think it was going anywhere. But now all of this kicked in and I'm like, okay, well, let me cut back. Plus, we couldn't go anywhere anymore. I couldn't go on a trip, had to cancel my trips, all that kind of stuff because COVID was kicking in. So I was just staying in the house, wasn't going to happy hour, wasn't going to get nothing to eat, wasn't going on vacation, wasn't going to get my nails done, wasn't going to get my hair done, nothing. So I was budgeting and saving all that money, didn't touch my unemployment. All of my unemployment was going straight into my savings account. So like I said, when I first got my card, I already had $6,000 on it. So boom. Then I was getting $1,000 every week from COVID. So that $1,000 every week was going straight into my savings account. Boom, 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 boom. So then next, and that lasted 8 weeks. So that was another $8,000. Where's my calculator? That was another $8,000. So that was 6,000 plus 8,000. So that was already 14,000 right there, just from saving my unemployment and getting that extra $600 from COVID. That all went straight into my savings. I was just living off of my severance. So my severance ran out at the end of March. So when April came, I was getting the unemployment, and by that time I was still living off of my severance because, like I said, I was having a tight budget. I mean, tight. I was really only paying my basics: my rent, my lights, my cable, my phone. My car is paid for, so all I had was car insurance, renter's insurance, a little bit of groceries, and that's all I was paying for. So everything else just kept stacking. I was just stacking and stacking and stacking. And I was getting nervous because now my severance ran out. So now I was still living a little bit off of that. I was still getting unemployment. And then unemployment ran out I got me a job June 4th. And what's crazy is that my last week of unemployment was going to be that same week. So I didn't even call in my certification that week because I had got a job like on Tuesday. And my unemployment was scheduled to run out that week anyway. So I'm like, I'm not even going to do my certification because it doesn't even matter. They're not going to approve it. I could have fought it. But I'm like, okay, I got paid. How much money was I really going to get anyway? So my job kicked in. I also found a part-time job. So anything I was making on my and I was working from home. I found both jobs from home. So anything I was making on my part-time job, I was just pushing into savings too. And I was still sticking to my tight budget, even though the job that I found wasn't exactly the same amount that I was making at my full-time job. But when I first started working that job, we were doing crazy overtime. So I was getting all the overtime they was willing to give. You want me to work 7 days a week? Sure, I'll work it. You want me to work 12 hours a day? Sure, give it here. Give me all the hours. So I just took all that extra money, all the money from my part-time job, and just kept putting in my savings, putting in my savings, putting in my savings. By the time I looked up in September, so I had started putting money into that account starting in February from that first $6,000 that I got on my unemployment card. From that first $6,000 in February until September, I had saved up $18,000, y'all. And you can do it too. I know you're saying, well, I'm not in the same situation that you're in. You was getting severance and unemployment. Just think about you're working a full-time job and a part-time job. That's basically all it was, kind of. I mean, if you can make that kind of money at a part-time job or start your own business and make that kind of money, because I was also having all my side hustles too. Now, my side hustles and all that went into my business account, so I didn't even count that money into my personal account. I didn't use any of that money into saving for the money for my house, because I figured if I get a house, I'm going to need it between 3.5% to 10% to put down. So I'm like, okay, I hit 18,000, so I think that's a good number. I think I'm still going to try and get to 20,000. I have a couple of weeks left to find me a house at the end of the month. So I think I'm going to keep going to get to 20,000, because the money that I don't use towards the house, I'm going to use to buy new furniture and things like that, because, you know, I don't want some new furniture and stuff, new house, new life, new furniture, But I'm not going to use credit cards and all that to get it done. I save my money. I want to use my money towards that, or any upgrades that I can get on the house, because I think I'm going to get a house built. So any upgrades or anything that I can get on the house, I want to have that money to pay for it. So that is how I was able to save $18,000 in 8 months to go towards buying a house. You can do it too. You don't have to say, well, I'm not in your same situation. Just think about it. Like I said, you work a full-time job, you work a part-time job. Throw all that part-time job money towards your savings, and then also budget with your full-time money to see where you can cut, because I cut out a lot of things. And actually COVID helped that because I couldn't go out anymore. I was a social butterfly on the weekends. I was doing happy hours. I was going out to dinner, taking my son out to dinner, just, living the life. I work hard. So I'm like, I'm going to enjoy some of the fruits. But two trips I missed out on. I was supposed to go to Jamaica. I was supposed to go to Vegas. So that money, went to a different savings because I'm trying to save for my 50th next year for Hawaii if, everything is okay to travel. But yeah, it can be done. Work that full-time job, work that part-time job, or get a couple of side hustles, start a business. You can save that money. So if you have any questions or anything, I'm gonna try and look for my paperwork for what that other program is. If you're in that situation where your job lays y'all off because the jobs are going overseas, I believe it's called some kind of job rehabilitation program. But I'll try and see and put that in the comments or put that in the description or whatever. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. I would love to have you as a subscriber, and I hope I can bring you more content that could be helpful and beneficial to you. Thanks for watching. Bye.